to introduce to you today Mrs. Nekibe Kelmendi and Dr. Obrad Savic, who are our guest speakers at today's history seminar. I'd like to make a very short introduction of both our speakers, and then I will give the floor first to Mrs. Kelmendi and then to Dr. Savic. After they finish, there will be a short period of questions and answers if you would like some additional explanation of what will they present to you. Our today's topic is transitional justice and war crimes issues. Mrs. Nekibe Kelmendi is not only the first Albanian woman attorney. She was licensed as a lawyer in 1974. In the same year, she became the first Secretary General of the Kosovo Chamber of Advocates for 4 years since 1974. She was a judge between 1968 and 1987 with a 2-year period of break when she worked as a lawyer. She was co-founder of the Human Rights Council of Kosovo in 1989 and of Democratic League of Kosovo. She was participant in many international conferences, and among those, she was co-founder of European Women's Lobby, and she took part in 2004 in the UN Conference on Women's Rights. From 1988, she has written many professional publications in the field of human rights, on the situation in Kosovo and in legal field, among which the most important is the publication titled Kosovo Under the Burden of Discriminating and Anti-Constitutional Laws of Serbia, Facts and Proofs. This text was included in one of the UN resolutions on Kosovo in 1995. She was also very active in the legislation. She was co-chair of Department of Justice with the United Nations Mission in Kosovo from 2000 until the end of 2001. This is her 3rd term as a member of Parliament of Kosovo, and until recently she was Minister of Justice of Kosovo. Dr. Obrad Savic Mrs. Kelmendi will discuss about discriminating policy and war crimes issues in Kosovo. Dr. Obrad Savic will speak about the dilemmas of transitional justice. The title is The Dilemmas of Transitional Justice, the Unanswerable Past. From 2005, Dr. Savic works as a research fellow at the School of Fine Arts and Cultural Studies, University of Leeds in the UK. Currently, he's a professor at the Kosovo Institute for Journalism and Communication, and he's a visiting lecturer at the American University in Kosovo. He previously taught history of social theory and political philosophy at the University of Belgrade. Because of political reasons, he was suspended and fired from the University of Belgrade in May 2000. He published several books, collections, and more than 100 texts on various topics: European Discourse of War, 95, Politics of Human Rights, Verso Press, London, 2002, The Charles Taylor Invoking Civil Society in 2000, Richard Bernstein, Responsibility of Philosophy in 2000, Balkans as a Metaphor with Professor Dusan Bilic in 2005, Community of Memory with Ana Miljevic, 2006, and he is presently working on following books: Pornography of the Past, Construction of National Memory, The Duty of Hospitality in the Age of Globalization, and Europe to Come. He has also been editor-in-chief of the Journalist Theory, Philosophical Studies, Text, Belgrade Circle, and guest editor of Parallax, London, UK. And of course, I would be glad to announce that Dr. Savic is member of editorial board of Kosovo Journal of Social Studies, an upcoming publication of the AUK. Thank you very much. I'd like to give the floor now to Mrs. Kelmendi.
Ms. Kelmendi, so bear with me because I'm a legal expert, so I'll try my best in this. I'd like to greet first of all of you here present. It is a great honor and pleasure to be here in front of an audience such as we have it here today. But at the same time, I'm somehow emotional because I'm a practical person rather than a theoretical person. So for me, this is the first time that I'm having a lecture in a higher education institution here. But despite that, because of our maturity and I used to belong to the same political party until 1999, I could not reject this invitation. This is the first reason, but the second reason is also that I have great respect for him and his family as well. Therefore, for me, it was a great pleasure to accept this invitation. And to offer a lecture, especially in a higher education, American higher education institution. In his remarks, however, mentioned that I will be speaking on the recent history of Kosovo beginning in the 1980s. I will maybe move a little bit from this remarks that he made in his introduction. Because history has its own continuity and it has its own beginning where it starts. After the end of World War II, where the Albanians from Kosovo and Albania participated in the war, in the anti-fascist and Nazist war. And part of the agreement that the Albanians had for their participation in the anti-Nazis and fascist war was that the Albanians, after the war, will be able to be declaring themselves whether they wanted to live in Yugoslavia or they wanted to join Albania. And after the end of the war, there was a conference called Conference of Brionic held, in which the discussion took part for Albanians' right to whether they should remain in Yugoslavia to join Albania. Participants of this conference were mainly Albanian, but there were Serbs as well.